our debt level, that is the debt to GDP, not just the nominal debt, the debt to GDP, has moved from about 56% to now 62.25% as a percentage of GDP. Yesterday, Dr. Bawumia was in Kumasi telling us that their debt to GDP is better than us. You inherit a 56%, you raise it to 62.25%, and you have the audacity and the effrontery to stand in Otunfo's Kumasi and tell the people of Ghana that your track record is better than that of John Mahama. I am not surprised, because if the MPP is capable of turning a very fine heart surgeon into a galamsey kingpin, they can equally. Ladies and gentlemen, if the NPP is able to turn a very fine heart surgeon, a very good man, into a galamsey kingpin, they can equally turn an economist into a crack propagandist who engages in galamsey when it comes to statistical issues. Because it doesn't support the fact. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about inflation. And I tell you, go and read the Minister of Finance's statement. And all these figures I'm churning out, I decided I won't use our figures. Let's use the figures coming from the Statistical Service, from the ministry itself, from the Bank of Ghana, from PIAC, and from the agencies. I challenge you, the media, and this for me is important. We must settle the debt stock by the time we're leaving office. Because the Auditor General has the mandate to validate the figures. The Auditor General has vetted, validated the figures, and stated that the debt stock was 120 billion. Dr. Bawumia and Ken Oforeta insist that they won't use that figure. They will use their own figure of 122 billion. And when they appeared before Parliament, and Honorable Aveji asked them why they were using 22, the Deputy Minister, the lady, Abna, stated clearly that when they were preparing the budget in March, they decided to use the debt in dollars, 2016 December, but they used the exchange rate of March 2017. What kind of economic analysis is this? So you can't even trust them. And I think that media stations like Joy FM, you do a lot of fact-checking. Let us settle this debate and know Ghana's true debt stock as of December 2016. Because the 56% is even quoting is inaccurate. And yet, even with that 56, today our debt has moved from 120 to 222 billion. What we accumulated over the 8 years, the MPP administration in 3 years has surpassed that mark. If you check that average to Ghanaians today, a population of about 27 million, it means that every Ghanaian today is indebted to the tune of 8,333 cedis today. That is how every Ghanaian owes in Ghana. And yet there's nothing to show for that. The construction sector is key, because every country, if you don't pour brick and mortar, if you don't pour concrete, you are not building your economy. In 2016, we're growing at 8%. Today, the construction sector that employs the bulk of the youth is growing at -%. Negative, not even 1%. The electricity sector, we're increasing access to electricity at a rate of 4% per annum. We picked electricity from 54 and took it to about 84 by the time we're leaving office. And Akufo-Addo today, the electricity sector, access is growing at 0.5%. He can't even achieve 1%. If you look at the financial sector, that is where they claim they've done whatever cleanup. The financial sector was growing at about 14%. Today it's growing at about 12%. And all these are figures contained in Ken Oforiate's 2020 budget. If you go and read even the budget statement of 2017, and I refer to paragraph 90, he states clearly that the cedi depreciated by about 9% to the dollar in 2016 and appreciated against the pound sterling. That is what he says. Today, if you go and read his own budget and the Monetary Policy Committee report of the Bank of Ghana, the cedi is depreciating at about 13%. And so you take over from President Mahama at a rate of 9%. You have depreciated this year at a rate of 13%. And you still look into the eyes of Ghanaians and tell them that you have slowed the rate of depreciation. Can you slow the rate of depreciation from 9 to 13? It's only in Dr. Bawumia's economics that you slow the rate of depreciation from 9. You are 13. And still, you want to tell Ghanaians that you are slowing the rate of depreciation. Then we prefer our 9 under President Mahama. Because that's where you took over. If you look at most of the educators, they don't support the argument that the MPP is portraying.